And so your presentation should last for 12 to 15 minutes.
Yes.
Ready?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today, our topic is about the P2P technology here, and this is my groupmate Lucas, Kimberly, and me, William. Yes. And then here is our contact page. So let's have some preview about it first. So nowadays, the quantity of data sharing is skyrocketing. Therefore, we need P2P for more convenient and faster way for the transfer data is invented. That allows users to share information directly with each other. So before we start, we'd like to share a video with you.
Today we're going to tell you about a whole new way of doing things. Usually, you have some money and save it with a big institution. The institution gives you, say, 5% interest. Or someone else, a lot like you, Sally, put credit and keeps to his commitments. Gets credit from a big institution and pays about 20% interest back to them. So where does that extra percentage go? What if there were a different way? A way for borrowers to meet with lenders. People are not like them. A way for the borrowers and lenders to share that extra percentage of interest among them. And a way that makes sure careful contracting and wise background checks are part of making it a win-win for both sides. That's where we come in.
Okay, even though this is only a business video about investment, but it's also connect to our topic today, the P2P. So in the following presentation, we're going to introduce what P2P is and its application. So let's invite my groupmate.
So what's P2P? P2P emphasizes a four-direction direct communication under the internet infrastructure. They are peer-to-peer, program-to-program, PC-to-PC, and people-to-people. So what's the difference with the traditional data communication? So the major difference between a client-server and a P2P technology will be the need of a server. What is client-server? The client submits a request message to the server. Then server returns a response message to the client. Response contains completed status information about the request by the client in its message body. So how about P2P? At initial stage, the host itself is the client and the server. In between hosts, they can communicate with each other. And the peer-to-peer sharing is compiled with a TCP/IP protocol and a TCP packet instead of a UDP packet. So technology layers allow users to look for other clients themselves, so the break of communication due to the server disconnection is avoided. The structural design of P2P can be split into two platforms. Napster, a centralized architecture, and Nutella, a distributed architecture. Nutella operates in 3 steps: connections, searching, and downloads. We first have to install it as a network peer, and then connect to the server, preset the side of end users, as well as the share file list sent to the server side. Then, if we want to search for a file, a query is sent to a server. The server will look for a list of a database of file, go back and get a result for you. Receipt of the result from the server will be provided. Then you will download the wanted file via a direct connection with others' computer without contacting the server. Same, we install the Nutella software as a peer end, but there is no preset server to link Nutella network. Therefore, we have to know at least one peer's IP address as a port as the first connection. Then search query will be sent to you for a direct connection. They, the peers, will continue to send you requests, and direct connection will be done and download as the Napster.
About the application, we need P2P computing because the demand for computer resource is infinity. The P2P internet has the potential to reduce costs and improve productivity. Upon to note that its P2P popularity will need more clients' computer. to control the P2P computing network server system. Application in enterprise. P2P seems to be a new technology, but some people think that file sharing is the only way of the implementation of this concept. But actually, other functions are covered like instant messaging, e-commercial, internet TV, VoIP phones, and boys' favorites, the BT. We download games fast, free BT. A point worth mentioning is that Intel, the largest CPU manufacturer, has promoted P2P computing standards and communications protocols, which sets off a third wave of the internet revolution. Also in financial service, e-commerce markets still can use P2P technology. P2P is also a good customer information collection system. Instant messaging service bring considerable advertising opportunities, which customer information in line enhance the effectiveness of within internet marketing channels. So what is VoIP? We can say it is an internet phone. It is cheap or even free phone service. Cost of that purchase of equipment may be enough to start it up. It targets a broadband user, no matter 3G, 4G, or PC. VoIP turns digital phone signal into network packets, then send it to the recipient's phone. To make example, think of using a webcam or Skype. You don't deal phone, but you talk with each other. IPTV is an internet TV through a combination of broadband cable networks, internet, multimedia, communications, and other technology. And efficiently use a network resource, bring a new style of TV broadcasting and receiving. Internet TV has no limits but by the concept of channel. We audience watch according to the program we want, and there isn't playback time limits. We can watch whenever we are free. That's also a two-way radio function too. Yeah, how come we still can use MSN yesterday? It is because of P2P. Remember, P2P doesn't require a server. Therefore, even Microsoft has used MSN server down. We can still use it. For this example, so BT is a download tool software, referred to as BitTorrents. Generally, when downloading files, the same time large numbers of downloads, when server bandwidth flatters, the speed will slow down. Multi-P2P transmission principle of BT overthrows this concept. The more downloading at the same time, the faster the download. BT is original concept pioneered by programmer Brian Calhoun because it is open software who have been using BT as a basis for transfer program. We make our download first file for the content to be downloaded and run it to start up the download. So I pass the time back.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the impact to the e-society. So actually, we can see that after the introduction, we can see a lot of benefit that P2P technology brings to us. It not only reduces the burden of the server, it also allows the system to perform more smoothly with the considerable benefit in item of the system. For the user that require a large number of downloads, P2P is a very convenient technology that accelerates data transmission and shortens the time of download completion. But we will think about there will be some bad thing about P2P will happen in our real life. So first is a property issue due to the source and media production. So actually P2P itself is illegal, but because of the source and the file shared is concerned, some of the video like the authorized audio, video, or data that you have never received permission from the creator, that you are when you downloading this kind of file, you are against the law. So, and then next one is about the hard disk and the port by some extreme frequency usage. And then there will leakage of the privacy and the confidential that we should consider when we're using the P2P. So, because of that, we may have some Trojans or some malicious worms that attack our computer. So we have to have some protection about it. So in normal concept that people will think, oh, I would better for me to have a firewall and it built into a router, use personal firewall software, like capacity or Norton, oh, that will be safe. But no, it's not. In fact, once you open the port, you are no longer to protect from the malicious traffic come through it. Yeah, like this, when you install it, they also allow you to like unlock the firewall, something like that. And then the second, so there are 4 things that we should consider when we're using P2P network. The first thing is that don't use P2P in the cooperation network. Don't ever install it on it, because that will the file in your company image shares it. This is the best case of it. The best case is that clock the company, the network bandwidth, like the graphic shows when you download something, your groupmate will not use the computer because the speed is too low. Oh, that's horrible. And then the worst case is some company file sensitive or considerable natural that will share to the internet. That's very horrible thing. The second thing is that beware of the client software. When you install it, it will be in order to participate in one of the file sharing network. Under the file continue development and may be buggy, and it will crash. It will cause the system crash and program with the computer in general, and it will replace with a malicious version when you install a virus or Trojan on your computer too. So the third thing is that don't share everything. When you're installing the P2P file software, default folder for sharing will be designate during the installation. And then many users will unknowing that the designer will to the row C, but row C is actually very important in our computer. If everyone knows, we have some operation system or some important message of our computer, we all install it here. So when you use the row C, it may share a lot of information. So be careful of it. And the final thing is that scan everything. This is the simple case that we use every day, installing antivirus software like the graphic shows, and scan everything frequently, like even once a week or once a month. Yes. And even though this activity is not 100% to avoid the virus to attack the computer, but this is a good habit that you should use every day to make sure the computer is 90% safe when you're using P2P network. Yeah, and then
Okay, let's move away from the technical things. For further discussion, from a user's perspective, sharing capabilities of P2P are being concerned. Furthermore, comprehensiveness. People want a software that compiles with all multiple functions in one. Scalability is about the access speed of the network architecture and the load size of the community. Not to forget the problem of how to get free content value-added reward. The billing agency needs to be just right. We continue on user concern. For convenience, we may hope to have a mutual standard for the internet networking, which can achieve a cross-platform resources accessing. And of course, the user interface. Yes, user interface has to be user-friendly rather than a complex terminology or messy operation. We users care about the information security, especially when dealing with cash transaction and the correctness of the information of our personal. So what about enterprise? Yeah. P2P brought benefit by its ability to cooperate. Yet it brings a duplication on productivity. Therefore, the concern of the enterprise will be as follows: cross-platform coding and mutual APIs. So to facilitate each individual link to each other through a common interface. simultaneously, easier for future maintenance. So how to achieve it? By our own knowledge and what CS1102 had taught us, we can use XML instead of HTML for the coding, so that all codes can be self-defined clearly and presented in a human-readable form. Furthermore, that architecture of P2P internal sharing should be implemented by a remote procedure call function with a W3C SOAP protocol. With the aids of web service description language and taking reference to the Microsoft UDDI, the mutuality of the P2P program can be enhanced so other programmers can achieve and modify your program. So examples of common APIs are the Healthstone-based Microsoft and the Jetstar-based Sun Microsystem. So here comes to our conclusion. The P2P changed the development of the internet world. It enhances the transmission development, which make it faster. And some inter-device P2P like Google Beam, Samsung Beam can be facilitated. There are many issues worth exploring in development of it too, like illegal downloads which will offend the property rights. And there are also fears brought on the network security because of the sharing of the C drive. So here comes to our reference page.
1 minute.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's the end of our presentation too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? 1個2個3個。
Yeah,
So
very good.
我睇下先，係咪？陳偉生 and then 呢？麥雅琪。
You have mentioned that there are two architectures for the P2P system. I want to ask which one is more popular in our daily life?
The node server will be more popular, like Foxes, like MSN, like Skype, like BTs. We all use Nutella. Why? Because the Napster server system requires a server. And what P2P do is we do not want a server. So the Nutella architecture is, you see, a server-free. From the instance stage, from the very beginning, it used no server, so it will be more popular.
Okay. 麥雅琪。
You have mentioned that the B2B will hurt the hard disk. I don't really understand. Can you explain more?
Okay. Well, actually, we need to understand how the traditional hard disks do. There are rotating magnetic plates, and there is a reader. And what P2P does is it constantly, in every second or even millisecond, is saving and taking information from the same sector of that hard drive. Like if you set the root is C, the whole C drive is working. But practically, it's only a point or even half of the point of the saving sectors. So if you repeatedly, extremely frequently use that point without using other points and without letting it be so-called taking a rest, it will be damaged of, how to say, we eliminate the magnetivity of that sectors.
So it's like
set
just
the download speed limit to stop this action.
download speed. Yes, this is quite a good point about it. But nowadays, why people like P2P file sharing is about the speed that it have. Because I want to download a large film or large video that I have, I want it to be quicker. So time limitation is exactly a good way to control it. But when people working on it, so when people are working and needing some resources, what we want is faster, right? So yeah, your point is good. Like limit the speed of
And
it.
for the way of limiting the speed of the P2P sharing, different softwares like BitTorrent will be introduced that we can limit the download speed and the upload speed. But the technology is, how to say, it is not really limiting the download speed, but is, how to say, just like what we learned in the CS1102 for the CPU system. It download for the first second, it download this part. The second second, it let the computer to take a rest, and then the first second download. So to slow the, how to say, to reduce the share of resources. But it's not a real slowdown, but still a limitation.
Is that your question? Oh, your question seems like a follow-up of Arthur's question. Therefore, initially when you raising your hand.
No, first I want to ask if I slow down the download speed, can I prevent the BT damage our hard disk? I want to ask this.
Oh, okay. It just matches Arthur's question. Anyway, right. So, okay, let's therefore we stop here.
Yeah, thank
for
you.
your presentation.
Thank you.
So the next thing, please.
Teammate.
我以为还是这个。